final shape is closer than ever, and Bungie has given us a lot of information to really get the hype going. Some people are excited about the new location, others have been talking non-stop about the new subclass and supers, and others are theorizing about small clips from trailers and Vidocs wearing spinfoil hats. This is us. That's where we're at. In this video, I'm going to cover theories for the final shape that are plausible all the way up to one that is so crazy and unlikely that you all may feel I need a wellness check. This video will only be covering final shape ideas and theories. If you are interested in post-final shape theories and storylines, I have 2 videos on my page from a few months ago. I want to keep this video pretty localized to a single area and idea. This week we were treated to the final season of the Wish mission, and along with it, one of the best cutscenes in Destiny history.
You died.
So did you. Yeah, I don't have to call you Prince anymore, do I?
Now, right off the bat, we have some theories already confirmed in this video. Cayde was already inside the Pale Heart before we, or even Crow, arrived. Myself and a lot of other lore creators have theorized for months that Crow accidentally brought Cayde back with a wish. Now, if you'd like to watch the full video over this theory, I have it on my page. But basically, the theory came from the exotic ship Unforeseen Consequences. Be careful what you wish for. He remembers his sister's throne differently, an amalgam of Elisny flotsam built from the spoils of war, its great weight suspended from the rafters. A throne Aldrin set ablaze in the wake of losing her, his first step down a forsaken path. Crow lays a hand on the throne before him. It is empty and ponderous, silhouetted by distant nebula and cosmic dust. It feels smooth, too smooth. It was here that I first heard the news of your death, calls a familiar voice behind him. He turns to see his sister striding down the hall. Mara takes her place beside him and gazes out into the far reaches of space. Did you mourn for me? Crow asks. I did, his sister replies. She is silent for a moment. And I regret what I did to you. The manipulation, the subtle coercion, none of it went the way I intended. Crow follows her gaze out into the endless void. I know what that's like. Remorse and recriminations, Mara says absently. She turns her eyes toward him. If you could go back after the course of your history, what would you change? He can't help but laugh. Where to begin? Crow muses with a smirk. It fades soon enough. Cayde, he whispers. Mara raises an eyebrow. Oh? Before then, I could have taken a different road. But once I pulled that trigger, he shakes his head. Everything else I can set right, but not that. I just wish I could tell him I shouldn't have done it. I see, Mara murmurs. Her eyes shine in the starlight. Crow sighs and rolls his shoulders back. I should get going. Vanguard's waiting on my report. We all have our obligations, I suppose. Don't I know it? Crow nods as he heads down the hall. He pauses at the portal to the Dreaming City and glances back at Mara. Ringed by the distant nebula, she shimmers like a mirage on distant sands. And then Crow is gone. See you soon. Mara's voice echoes across the empty chamber as the illusion fades. Oh, brother mine. Crow accidentally makes a wish to Ribbon pretending to be Mara. So all you Crow haters out there, you better be thanking Crow for the return of Cayde to Gain. Like I want to see flowers and cookies delivered to Crow in the final shape, okay? Crow taketh and giveth, okay? That literally is what you wanted. While speaking about Cayde, we also may have received confirmation about Cayde's role in the Pale Heart. Once the Hunter Vanguard, Cayde will most likely be the destination vendor.
Cayde has this iconic hand cannon that in a lot of ways has become a symbol. We took Ace of Spades and we went, where's the rest of the deck of cards? We had this really cool opportunity to theme all the Pale Heart weapons after different suits.
It has this two-tone feel to it. The opposite side of the gun is the inverse of that idea. They look freaking awesome. It also has like these fantasies of characters that have influenced Cayde. These guns are part of his past.
These destination weapons are reflections of Cayde, so it makes sense he'll be the one giving them out to us. There was also mention in a tweet a few weeks ago about day 1 raid requirements, and one of the things listed was complete the wild card quest. I believe this will be a quest given to us post-campaign by Cayde. And my prediction at the moment, this is how we get the Golden Gun Sniper, since the Golden Gun was Cayde's iconic ability. Another theory involving Cayde is that he will pass the mantle of Hunter Vanguard to Crow. We already saw him basically say, "We are even," in the final seasonal cutscene, so any bad blood between the two is in the past. I know 30% of the community will erupt in anger over this decision, but 30% of the community is upset their Titan defensive super received a buff and became even more defensive, so who cares if it makes people mad? I for one think it's the logical arc for Cayde and Crow's story. Why wouldn't you want Crow as Hunter Vanguard since he's so beefy? Now I think these playing cards are going to play a more important role than just imagery for the weapons. The developer said that these are all Cayde's memories and people who were important to him. Jack of Diamonds, Clovers, and Hearts are all generic guardians of their respective classes, and most likely representing us. King of Diamonds is Ikora, and King of Hearts is Zavala. King of Clovers is an old member of Cayde's fire team and someone who was once in game, Shiro 4. Queen of Hearts is Lakshmi 2, and on the reverse, our very first look at Maya Sundaresh, who Cayde was in love with while he bodyguarded for her. She is also most likely the namesake for his ghost, Sundance, since there's a large chance Cayde never had a wife and kid and lied to himself to become a better person. Even Cayde has said he is unsure if his family ever truly existed. The Queen of Clubs is someone we have never once seen in game, and I believe this is our very first look at Micah 10. Now, if you've never heard of Micah 10, Micah 10 is the boy that was on the Penguin lore from Europa, but also a Guardian. Micah 10 is also the only transgender Guardian that I know about, so when I describe this, I'll be bouncing back and forth due to the fact that, like, in different moments, boy-girl. When Micah was a young boy, Cayde 1 tried to kill her for accidentally stumbling upon Cayde 1 stealing goods from Clovis Bray. This is one of the only memories Cayde has remembered enough to regret, even after his resets. Micah was like 8 to 10 years old when Cayde almost put a bullet in his head. She was also a member of the Six Coyotes, which was a group of hunters Cayde 6 had a lot of respect for. I do believe Maya Sundaresh, or at least some version of her, will play an important role in the episode Echoes, which I have gone over in another video previously, my Ishtar video. But what about Shiro 4 and Micah 10? There hasn't been a single word about Shiro in years, and the last bit we received was his ghost talking during Cayde's funeral. The lore reason is due to all the hunters disappearing and staying mostly away from the last city because no one wanted to take Cayde's job. But with Cayde's return, we may see Shiro and other hunters make their way back to the storyline. Micah 10 is a little harder to predict why she would be important or belong in the story, because there isn't a lot of lore about her adult life outside of protecting ghosts and being in the Six Coyotes. But a guardian who made it their life mission to keeping Ghost, the Traveler's gifts, safe, may be important to the Traveler and recognized. But I do feel there may, in fact, be an important role for her in the future if my next theory is correct. During the first Vidoc stream, we saw a very interesting cutscene.
Not just for this story, but for Destiny as a whole. And the theme that we kept coming back to was purpose and fate. And that's what...
I think this will be an end of campaign cutscene rather than a reveal of how ghosts were created. If we don't see the cutscene before the raid, and it's not a flashback, it will most likely be after the raid, after the final mission, that following Tuesday. I think the Traveler being free of corruption and the threat of the Witness may produce more ghosts, which will lead to more races like the Cabal, Fallen, and possibly even bring back races the Hive and Cabal completely wiped out. I think Bungie really needs to think outside the box post-Final Shape and include more new races for us to ally and fight against. The Traveler has always been the giver of life, terraforming planets and moons, and the final gift of ghosts, bringing humanity back to life. So why not reward the universe with more life? Now, from what I've seen, nothing has been talked about more from the first Vidoc than the cabin.
For me, is putting familiar things out of context. What is the thing when you turn the corner?
I'm going to be honest. My initial reaction to this scene and the developer's voiceover was that this was our past house, and we were going to learn like one little snippet about our past. I know Bungie doesn't want to give our Guardian too much backstory and personality in order for us, the player, to create our own individual Guardians, but a quick look at or inside an old house and a "does this look familiar?" from the Witness doesn't seem too far out of reach. But I now think this is Zavala's house for a couple of reasons. For context, this is what Zavala's house looked like. The houses do not match up one-to-one due to chimney placement, but I think another cutscene we see in the first Vidoc confirms this to be Zavala's home.
I used to think I'd give anything to bring you back.
I cried quite a...
Zavala is obviously sitting inside this house. We can see the cabin's window over his left shoulder. I also do not think he is talking to Cayde here, like a lot of us thought at first. I think the Witness is trying to convince Zavala to turn on the Traveler and give his family back to him. Because we hear from the developers that the Witness is actively trying to convince us to side with them still.
And you wonder, like, what would it be like? What would it be like to be a disciple of the Witness?
Your Guardian's use has yet to be determined. We're in need of a God killer.
Zavala did come to terms with his dead wife back in Season of the Haunted, but what about his son? A son's death weighs so heavy on a father's heart. I think the Witness could be tempting Big Blue with returning his son to him, and maybe also his wife. I do think, however, the Witness needing a God killer is directed only to us. And it's weird, right? Like this extremely powerful being that can slice things just at the flick of its finger, right at the cusp of its victory, telling us they need our help. The Witness doesn't just want to stop the Traveler. They want to show the Traveler it's wrong about everything. I think here the Witness wants to convince us to delivering the killing blow to a being inside the Traveler. I have a longer video on this, but I think the unknown female voice we hear in one of the trailers is the Traveler's or something inside the Traveler. The Witness didn't say they want or would like a God killer. They said they are in need of a God killer. They need us, either to prove a point to the Traveler itself, or because the Witness is kind of busy and needs us to handle whatever is inside the Traveler. From here, the theories get a little crazier, so grab your spinfoil hats from the complimentary bin, and if there are none left, blame Paw Patrol, Quaffit, my editor. He was supposed to restock the bin before this video. It's one of his duties. Restocking bins, not just editing, not just giving you guys quality editing. He's supposed to be restocking tinfoil and spinfoil in bins. And if there aren't enough spinfoil hats to go around, you guys have my permission to steal his crayons. I think the Witness is going to enact, or at least partially reach its goal at first. I think the Witness is going to enact, or at least partially reach its goals at the end of Mission 7. Then we have to stop them in the raid and get everything back to how it's supposed to be in the final mission coming out of the raid. The reason I think that is because of this scene.
Every time I opened a script, I was like, what would I want to see? What would I want to hear?
You get to see
Crow is back in what looks like the last city. It's dark, and Crow looks worried. He gives Glint a short smirk, but his eyes have fear in them. To me, this feels like someone trying to reassure their friend that everything is just going to be okay. Okay, my final theory, and this is the craziest one yet, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm counting on this one being so wrong that if it is right, I will live stream myself walking on Legos. And you guys can hold me to that. If this theory is correct, I will dump Legos on the ground and you can watch me walk on them. This comes from a shot we saw in the first Vidoc of the writer's room. We see this long whiteboard of the story beats, and then a little bit later, we see one that is of the 5 major characters that will have story arcs in final shape. While we do know other characters will be present, as we've seen Savathun, Mithrax, Cayde, and Mara in other trailers, only Crow, Cayde, Zavala, Ikora, our ghost, and the Witness will have major story arcs. But this is where we get to Crazy Town. Let's look a little bit deeper and closer at the Witness's name. It says the Witness / something. Bungie purposely covered up another character or name attached to the Witness. Now, this could be another name for the Witness, but I feel like that's really unlikely because why would the writers need to know another name for the Witness on their board? Like, there's tons of other names for the Witness in lore. So I feel like there are only 2 reasons Bungie would do this. There will be another character we meet in the story so connected to the Witness they are basically the same person, or it's a character we already know that's connected to the Witness. There is one character that we have never seen their face, their hands, or frankly any part of their body. One character who we watch seemingly die, but has never once been confirmed in lore or game, the Speaker. The Speaker was the leader of the Consensus, the governing body of the last city, and there has been no mention, not a single one, of his body ever being recovered or any kind of ceremony for him. We do know for a fact someone went back to where he died because Zavala has his broken mask in his office, but no mention of a body, no mention of recovering a body. I know, you are all ready to tar and feather me. I almost didn't even put this in the video because of how unlikely I really think this is. But hear me out. The parallels to the Witness's government and the government of the last city are very similar. I think Bungie purposefully wanted us to make this connection. Now, if you haven't read it, the Final Shape Collector's Edition lore talks a lot about their governing body. They called their government the Consensus, same as us. And they had factions that were represented inside the Consensus, same as us. No one knew how the Traveler worked better than the Speaker. If the Witness was able to turn him, it would lead to valuable information about ghosts, light, and more being given to the enemy. Now, if you want to get even crazier, maybe the Speaker was a plant to stay close to the Traveler and see what was going on. Like I said, it's a crazy, crazy, crazy theory. But it's one I kept thinking about while wondering if I had brain damage to even suggest such a thing. As this is a theory video, everything I said here may be proven wrong by a week 1 or week 2 of the Final Shape. And if I am wrong about all my theories, that is okay. We should all strive to have ideas and theories, but never hold on to them so tight that they blow up in our faces if we are found out to be wrong. I have been wrong lots of times. I have also been right lots of times. And if you've watched me a long time on TikTok, you all know I have no issue admitting when I am wrong, or sometimes get way too excited when I am right about something. At the end of the day, I am so excited for Final Shape and the episodes that will follow, no matter what happens. I trust Bungie to put together a great finale to this adventure we have been on these last 10 years. I know Lightfall was not great, and as someone who studied writing and storytelling in college, I do think it might be one of the worst stories of any major DLCs. But the past is the past, and I will judge this story on its own merits. Thank you all for watching this video, and a special thank you to my best Muffin and Above members, Pulse, Prince Mav, Son of a Mitch, and a thank you to my VIP Discord members, Puddles, Amid, Broken Pebbles, Away Galaxy, Pulse, Quick Draws, Sir Hobbit, and SYNJ. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, like, and comment. And remember, hunters never die.
Hunters never die. Hunters never die. No, hunters never die. Hunters never die. never